Welcome, everybody, to the Paytrace Power 30. My name is Sam Johnson. I'm the sales trainer here at Paytrace. With me, like always, it seems like it's almost always, is our national sales manager, Eric Jenks. And we have a special guest, the Midwest Acquirers Association president, Rod Katzfey, is here. Welcome, Rod.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here, guys.
We're excited to have you, man. I want to go over some quick housekeeping before we start jumping into the webinar portion, because I do see a few new names on here. Just so you guys know what to expect, this is a half-hour webinar. We want this to go by pretty quickly. We're going to chit-chat a little bit about, Paytrace a little bit of the industry, where you can find some success. We encourage everybody on here, if you have questions, comments, emotional outbursts throughout this call, please open up the Q&A box in your Zoom panel. Do whatever the heck that Eric's doing. And typing, I think that's what that is. Type it into us. You are muted. We want to reduce background noise, but that doesn't mean that we want to reduce some engagement. Also, if your colleagues, your friends can't make it here, or if you need to hop off early, this will be recorded and up on our YouTube channel. I can breathe. Okay. Well, got that out of the way. Rod, let's talk a little bit about you. So before meeting you earlier, I had always known you as the name of all the emails that I'd get from Midwest. just hitting my inbox all the time. Tell us a little bit about yourself, besides your background with Midwest Acquirers, what's your background in the payment space?
Yeah, so, and again, guys, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Eric, for the opportunity to come speak today, share more information with you guys. Obviously, we're very excited about the show that's coming up here in less than 2 weeks now. But to give you perspective of who I am, what I've done, I actually started while I was in college in the banking space. I was pursuing my accounting degree. The accounting firm said, hey, go get into banking until you hit your intermediates and we'll talk internships. The long story short, I was in banking. They paid for 80% of my schooling. By the time I got to intermediate, the accounting firm said that these are non-paid internships. I said, no, thank you. The bank's paying for 80% of my school. I think I'll continue down that path. And what led me actually to payments was when I was getting into my last semester of college, the bank no longer had flexibility. They were always flexible with schedule and no longer flexible because they probably knew I was going to be leaving soon. So I actually had become friends with the CFO of our issuing division. I worked for a bank called Boatman's Bank out of Missouri, which is known today as Bank of America. And he said, hey, we're going to get in a joint venture with First Data. And so I actually went and pursued interest in that. I ended up on the outside sales team, commission only, trial by fire, learn this industry. Have now been in banking and payments for now 29 plus years. Have moved done six different corporate reloads from originally Missouri to Atlanta to Minneapolis to Chicago to Louisville, now back to Atlanta, otherwise known as FinTech South. But it's been a great career, and I will tell you that Midwest has been a big part of that, and we'll talk more about what I mean by that.
So all this to say is Rod is an industry veteran, so all those questions that have been burning that Eric and I have not been able to answer for you all, please we'll throw Rod under the bus today.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not often I get somebody on here that's more experienced than you, Eric, so I'm gonna pick on that.
Well, so I just want to say something real quick. There's a tendency, and I think a fear, like we're going to turn this into a Midwest commercial, like an infomercial. And I would say, Rod's shaking his head no. I'm not afraid to do that because I want to tell you a little bit of like why are we going? Like I'll be there in a couple of weeks. I hope some of you guys will be there. But at the risk of saying turn it into an infomercial, I also think there's some really cool stuff that Midwest does. So
well, I'll just add in there, guys. Obviously, I live and breathe Midwest, right? I've lived and breathed it now for almost 19 years. I attended their first show, and then shortly after that show, they created an advisory board and asked me to if I was interested in being a part of that. That was early in my career, so again, this isn't to me, it's not an infomercial. It's the industry that we are in. Midwest plays a part of that. We have our sister conferences, Northeast, Southeast, as well as Western states. And, as a board, we support all of those different conferences. I went to Southeast. Obviously they were the fortunate ones to have the first back in person conference. We were all very, on edge watching that. How is this going to happen? Are people going to interact with it? I mean, even Eric and I, sat down one evening and we had a good conversation, probably for 30, 40 minutes with other folks from Midwest, but also other people. So, I view these conferences as part of our everyday life because of the networking capabilities. I mean, networking. That is the key to these. So if anybody who's on this, watching this, is on the fence about showing up or not, or they've never been to one but want to come to one, it's all about the networking. That's when I say my career has been a big part of this. It's not just been being part of the advisory board of the board. It's literally showing up, seeing people on a annual basis or going to multiple shows. This is a relationship industry. We base our decisions on relationships.
Well, let me hop in here really quick, Rod, and I'll make our lives a little bit easier because I can poll people. And I am curious, like, how many of you guys are planning on attending Midwest or any conference, really? Maybe not just MWAA, but what's coming up. We were out at Southeast as well a couple months or last month. Eric mentioned that he's going to be out there in Chicago coming up here pretty soon. So let us know if you're going to be out there.
I don't like those poll results. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's way too many people that aren't coming to the show.
That's opportunity for you, Rod.
That's right. And that's okay. We've got a lot of partners all over the country, so it makes sense.
Of course.
But, you mentioned something there, Rod, about this industry is very relationship based. And last year we had to kind of take a pause from really anything in person, physical, building relationships. What does that mean, for Midwest coming back in? Maybe what are some of the themes that you guys are looking towards, and how are you looking to rebuild with payments?
Yeah, and I'll go back to your comment you made earlier. You knew me as the guy who sends the emails that you're getting all the time, and I will tell you there's really two different databases, if you will. There's one that is a complete database that has all of the folks, including attendees, exhibitors, all of those. Those are all driven by our marketing team that go out to everybody. Those are drive what's the agenda, all the different things there. The ones that you're talking about that you get from me, and I'm sure some of these folks on this podcast as well have gotten that come directly from me. I focus in specifically on our sponsors and our potential exhibitors that are going to be on the exhibit hall floor, that are looking to get their brand out there and to do awareness and things like that. So we're very cognizant about what the purpose of Midwest is. It's really twofold. On one side, it's for the attendees, right? It's how do we provide content, learning opportunities, continue to drive and help them grow that side of their business, rather it be an ISO, an agent, other things. The other side of that is really the exhibit hall. How do we partner with companies to be able to drive their brand, to get new products, new services, rekindle their relationships and partnerships with folks? And so when you think about it as those two aspects, what I will tell you is that each year we come up with a theme, right? This year is recovery, the path to recovery, because we recognize that a lot of companies, again, we had to cancel our show last year. A lot of companies haven't been face to face. I'm sorry, I don't consider Zoom face to face because you can't shake the hand, you can't sit down and have that conversation, like you really can when you're in person and things like that. So part of that, I'll even step back. Our theme last year that we never got to do, and remember, we had to cancel in March. We had already set our theme last year as what keeps you up at night. Okay. Now, what's unique about that is our panels were going to be structured at the CEO, CFO, COO, those levels last year. Well, isn't it funny how what keeps you up at night became reality
Mhm.
in that sense? So we look back on that and we're like, wow, that's pretty intense. We don't need to have that this year. So what we did is we said, okay, what are going to be the themes for this year? So we have an HR and recruiting panel. That's big. We're going to have some great conversations around that, helping people both from a recruiting perspective, but also HR, because that's a hot topic right now that's out there. The
Mhm.
diversity and inclusion panel. We've got some folks that we're gonna speak about that because that is a very relevant topic. Selling in a virtual world. Our Eric Jinks right here is going to be on that panel speaking as well. And then our final panel that is also going to be the innovation panel. So again, we looked at it and said, what's hot right now? What do people want to learn about? What do they need to understand? So those are what we feel are relevant at this time. And the other thing I would add, Sam, is we also try to make sure that we don't have what I'll say regurgitated um, learnings, so to speak. We try to make sure that our panels and discussions are different than the other conferences, whether it be regionals or even the larger national conferences, because we want every experience to be unique to people so that they're not just going from one to the other and getting
Right,
the same.
right. Totally agree. Um, and I wanted to touch a little bit on what you said there, Rod, about your panel with Eric. We're throwing Eric into the fire, into the wolves' den, getting out there and presenting a little bit in person, which is exciting. But the theme is selling in a virtual world. And I know a lot of the folks that are on this call right now aren't able to make it to Midwest. Eric, um, if talking about B2B and really some of the pivots that have had to happen over the last year and a half, what are some of the big things that you're seeing out there as far as, what are reps having to do now in selling, or what are merchant trends that we should be looking for,
Yeah, now
payments?
you're asking for a spoiler, but I will tell you, I met with Jeremy this week with Midwest and was chatting with John with Payrock and Jonathan over at Cardex, and we were discussing like, hey, what are the things that these three, really awesome companies have been doing to have great results this last year? And so I will say that I am looking forward to chatting with that panel and kind of sharing some of the tips that we were talking about with new prospecting ideas that we did that became necessary in a virtual world, different tips that essentially were maybe time proven, but now, we have a greater appreciation now that we were forced to. So I'm not going to play my hand. I'll just tell you that that's kind of, it should be a good session just because, those are pretty amazing guys. And I think that we really do want to focus less on the past and more on, man, there are some amazing things that are happening like right now. There's some really cool opportunities. And I think there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of runway in payments. So yeah.
So Eric, what you're saying is if you're one of the 68 people that said you're not coming to the conference, the only way you're going to get to hear this information is to come to the conference.
I'm not sure. I think there may be some recordings out there, but yeah, it's always better live because I'll tell you, they're going to want to take some questions. So
right,
for sure.
If it's okay, so, I just wanted to say I saw this last week, Rod, that the show, it's sold out. Like there's no more space for exhibitors, right? And I think that's probably one of the most powerful thing is, folks, if you take a look at the Midwest website, there's a long list of people that are in the industry, and some folks that even kind of surprised me, like, oh, I didn't realize they would be there, but it kind of makes sense. And as you walk the floor and get to chat with those folks, I guarantee those folks are rolling out new product this year. Right?
I would tell you, we sold out, as you mentioned, June 30th for the exhibitor hall. We have 97 different companies that are exhibiting on the show floor. We actually generally have a few more numbers by that. But as you can imagine, with the situation as with COVID and things like that, we worked closely with the hotel, with the city of Chicago, the state. Again, it was either go big or go home, is what we told everybody. We weren't, if we were going to be restricted, we weren't having the show. So just the sheer number, 97, 3 weeks before the show starts, sold out. We're watching attendance climb every single day. I watch it during the mornings and stuff like that throughout the day. I mean, it amazes me the number of people that are going to be there. We're going to set a record this year.
Love it. Well, it brings into question, why the heck is Paytrace there? Because we're exhibitors. We filled up that spot earlier. Eric, I want to ask you, really, when it comes to these regional events and Midwest, what are, professionally, what are you looking to get out of it personally? What is Paytrace's goals for going to these types of regional events, right? What's the value that we see?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. I'll tell you, we had maybe, true confessions. We'd lost a little faith in some of the regionals, and in years past, some of the attendance started dropping, and we weren't seeing the people that we necessarily wanted to see. But I'll just tell you, coming out of Southeast, there's a tremendous energy right now at the regionals, and you'd be foolish not to tap into that. Yeah. There's a lot of people there that are doing big things, and if you want to stay ahead in the industry, you may need to consider investing in some time and some money to come out to some of these regionals, because the reality is folks are rolling out new stuff all the time. We're really hopeful that we can have some cool new tricks that we'll be rolling out, and you'll be the first in line to be able to see those things. There's also, just to be honest, I mean, there's certain deals, right? You don't learn about until you're just sitting down chatting with people, and sitting out on the patio, sitting out on the rooftop. We've always made these trips valuable. So I want to say that, especially in the B2B space, these are all B2B vendors, quite frankly, and they may be tools that you used to hear about, you just don't realize what they're up to. And it's worth continuing to invest in that continuing education. I used to be in the insurance space, and we were required every year to go do continuing education, right? And they're just like, hey, you have to do this. We don't have that requirement in the space, but I'll tell you, it is a requirement if you want to continue to be successful, because there are new partners. And so,
well, yeah. And Eric, I'll go back to, like, we had discussions early on, right? I mean, what was it you were trying to accomplish? Like you said, you had some concerns about the regional and not getting what you wanted, and we sat down and talked. What is it you want to get out of this? How can we help you, Paytrace, promote your brand, not only at our show but throughout? I mean, obviously, if anybody else is getting those Midwest email blasts that's coming from our marketing team, Todd and Kristen driving that, Paytrace's banner is at the bottom of that, right? That was an opportunity for us to help you guys potentially drive into customer bases that you may not already have, and then obviously the exhibit hall. So we want to thank you and the rest of the team for being a sponsor for us this year. We can't do this conference and this show without sponsors like Paytrace or other companies. But clearly you saw some value. Hopefully you'll see some continued value in that in the future.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm sending a team of 5 people out to Chicago. So I just want to say that, if you can make it out there, even if you can't make it out there, right? We'll have some people there who want to talk with you. But we'll have some folks from our leadership team. We're going to have some folks from account management. We're going to have some folks from sales there. And so, we're trying to cover the bases to have resources there. I mean, I'll just tell you, if you stop by the booth, we'd love to, set some time. We'll grab some coffee, kind of grab a beer, see where you're going, and see if there can be a good match to grow, especially in this lucrative B2B space. And just this last week, I was chatting with a guy, and he's like, I didn't realize you could do that. right? And he was chatting with a large company. They did $100 million. We did some interchange optimization savings, over $1 million. Looked like they could save. I mean, just money that's being wasted on downgrades. And then a huge consolidation with the accounting package. And, until we chatted, and I met him at SEAA, till we chatted, he was like, he didn't realize it was a good match. And sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. Right. Until you go out of, and chat with some new people. And it's going to be a huge opportunity for him. Obviously, we're super excited about that. But there's just a ton of that type of business that's out there. And you just need to, continue to, perfect your craft to be experts in that space, to be able to see those opportunities.
Absolutely. And it's been, 2 years since we've seen people in person. So Rod mentioned earlier, there's so much value in being able to have a face-to-face conversation. I know, we met as a team for the first time in a long time, and the amount of work that we get done in a small amount of time face-to-face beats these Zoom calls by a ton. So just getting in front of our partners, you guys, right? We want to know what's happening with you. We want to know what's your strategy looking like in this theme of recovery, right? How can PayTrace assist you? How can we work with you and really grow this partnership? And I'll throw out there, right, Eric, B2B, I mean, we fared pretty okay over the last year, wouldn't you say? Like, as far as opportunity goes out there, this is a good opportunity, good time.
Better than most, I would say.
Yeah.
Better than me.
So we want to have those conversations. We want to get in front of you and learn a little bit more about what's happening and how PayTrace can really build that partnership with you. Rod, you had mentioned a few other topics on there: recruiting, inclusion, diversity. Can you speak to? Oh, sorry.
Innovation as well.
Innovation, that's right. A lot of new payment technologies coming out there. Is there any insight that you can provide to the group here on this call about maybe some things that you've seen from your perspective as far as putting together some of these panels that are going into those topics?
Yeah, what I will tell you is, one of the things, and we obviously had some conversations before this, one of the things that continues to amaze me each year is, if I look through our exhibit hall, I got 20 plus new companies that are coming to exhibit at Midwest this year that haven't done that in the past. Are they brand new companies, or did they start up during the pandemic? Honestly, I can't answer that question because I don't know. I just know that they're new to us, new to Midwest. So that is always exciting to see these newer companies come and use our platform, if you will, as a means to get their products and services out. I will tell you, as far as building the panels and things, Eric mentioned it earlier. Jeremy Epstein is our person that handles putting all of that together, speaking to each one of these, trying to find the right mix and fit with all of those. So I will tell you that every one of these folks has a unique story, something that we feel needs to be shared out into the marketplace as a learning, as an opportunity. And we really look at those panels as a way to start the conversation, rather it be after that's done, or in the case of Eric and some of the others, taking that discussion on into the exhibit hall. During the time that there's interaction available, either through the opening and closing reception, during the daytime that will be on Thursday. Those are key points for that. I would encourage folks to learn more about who's speaking. Again, we're not making this an infomercial, of course, but go to midwestacquirers.org, click on the agenda link, and you'll be able to see all the different panels, who all speaking. Obviously, I will be starting us off in the beginning, and then something that's exciting. I'm sure a lot of folks on this medium also know Juan Ortiz. If you know that name, if you know Juan's been around for a long time, he's receiving the Industry Achievement Award this year. So I will be presenting that to him along with some of his background. So he's always a great person for us as well. So again, networking.
Awesome. Well, I know that we're coming up on time. Eric, any last thoughts that you wanted to get across before?
Yeah, a couple
we
of
see
people
you.
that have been on our ISV spotlights are also going to be there. So, we just chatted with Everywhere, and they're going to be there. Charge Zoom. These are partners that, we work with, we give you the ability to do level 3 through QuickBooks, give you the ability to do level 3 processing through text to pay. There's several outfits there. Nospeya, we can do ACH with them. They're going to be there. I think it's a great opportunity to, get a better understanding of these vendors, maybe to negotiate a special deal. A lot of these guys do promos during this time. I think actually we have our own promo that we wanted to bring up, right, Sam?
I'll throw that at Rod. I know he put together something for Midwest registration.
Yeah, so one of the questions I saw up here, thank you, Leah, for the question. You can actually register for Midwest Acquirers as an attendee all the way up until the show itself online. The day of the show, then it converts over to an at the door type situation. But what we've done also for our friends here with PayTrace is we've created a promotional code that's starting today, good through Sunday, the 11th. When you register, if you'll input the code PayTrace, then you, instead of paying $50 to attend, it will be $20.21, reflective of 2021. So I encourage anybody who hasn't registered to, again, go to midwestacquirers.org, click on the register, just input your information and use the code PayTrace to receive that discount good through Sunday.
Excellent. That's awesome, Rod. Thanks for putting that together. And I just want to remind folks, Eric and our team are going to be in Chicago, July 21st and 22nd. So if you are in the area, let us know. I think we'd love to get together and chat with you all, and be good to interact in person again. Of course, I'm not able to get out there. They're keeping me in my cage here in Spokane, but what can you do, right? Rod, Eric, thank you guys so much for stopping by, for participating in this. Really appreciate your time and your insights, and can't wait for the next couple weeks.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, again for having me. And I look forward to seeing everybody at Midwest, even those 72 people that didn't say they were coming.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Good to see you.
All right, guys, take care. Bye.